Off top, I've made it more difficult this week, so Mina can't ruin my joy by having the answer in her pocket. What would you rather hear? Who has thrown the most interceptions in a single season, or who has caught the most interceptions in a single season? Guesses? Anybody? Guesses?
Thrown the most.
Caught the most.
Yeah. They both. The reason why I was confident that neither of you would get it is because it's not like contemporary people. Surprisingly,
Dick Night Train Lane.
Is it Fran Tarkenton?
he's caught the most.
Is it Fran Tarkenton?
Yeah. Eat it, Domonique.
Yep. In 12 games, Dick Night Train Lane had 14 interceptions. In 12 games, George Blanda threw 42 interceptions. My man was serving them up.
Can you imagine George Blanda in the red zone era? It would have been sick. Another cut into George.
Oh, play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
All right, welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. Yeah, there was some guy also in the 50s, I think he named Hardy, who threw 8 interceptions in a single game. My man is just Christmas out there. One game, threw up 8 of those things. Oh, man, that's not connected at all to any of the games we have coming up this week. I don't think Jackson Dart's debut is going to be that wild. No one else could throw that many interceptions.
His backup could.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston.
That's fair, James, but he would also throw 8 touchdowns.
All right, so we're gonna preview our Thursday slate. As Dominique mentioned, Mina's here. Same way we normally do it. Good game, good bad game. I have a new wrinkle. I have a sicko game of the week for you, along with our bad game to end with. Mina, what's your good game? Because I think we have a great slate today.
I think I snagged Rams Colts, right? Rams Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Colts Rams or Rams Colts? I'm just keeping it right now.
Colts Rams.
Colts Rams. This is a great game. The 3-0 Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones, craziest story in football, versus the team I think most people believe are true contenders in the NFC with the Rams. I think this one is game script is going to matter a lot. Both teams love to use play. They had the second and most used to play action in the NFL. Rams are top, Colts are second. Both teams really want to run the football as well. Indianapolis has been fantastic doing so. And I think, for LA with this Colts offense, you want to put them behind, right? A little bit. I know that sounds obvious, but I would say for these offenses, it matters a little bit more. So I'm interested in seeing whether or not one of these offenses, if they fall behind games because of game script and deviate from, the play action passing attack, if they can remain as efficient.
Yeah, the first I guess it's not the first real test for DJ because he had the Broncos, but this does feel like, another test. I guess for the team, the Broncos, to me at least, seem like a more straightforward approach, whereas they have better matchups, I think. Obviously, outside, we saw the Eagles exploit that in the second half against the Rams about the issues at corner.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah, it's not just Emmanuel Forbes. Stop naming that man. Leave him alone. Let him live. But the weapons that honestly, I think the Shane Steichen factor is what's been really impressive to me so far. Of course, Daniel Jones is executing, but I'm looking forward to see how that game turns out and if they're able to protect with Jared Verse. But the O-line is really good. Like I'm excited about this game because I've been high on the Colts and I really think they can pull off this win on the road.
I have a couple questions on this because you brought up the Shane Steichen part. You brought up the pass rush. I want to start with what we saw last year in the postseason of the way that the Eagles were able to beat the Rams by gashing them on the ground. Obviously, that was not still a Shane Steichen system, but there might be a tiny bit of the DNA from the run game that we saw being really successful in Philadelphia and now being successful in Indianapolis. And Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line have been mauling people so far this year. When if say we get to, this is in the afternoon slate, we're midway through the second quarter, and the Colts are up by 10 points. Is that most likely going to be because they're beating them up on the ground?
Oh, yeah. I think they have one of those offenses that's very similar, I think, to like the Lions and honestly the Eagles. It's like, well, the Eagles haven't been running the ball well and they've been scoring enough points to win, but I think that both of these offenses are really predicated on the run. If either of them has a big lead, I think it's going to be because they're running the ball pretty well. I guess Matthew Stafford has another level that I think which it also leads to some turnovers. But there's another level that we have never seen out of Daniel Jones. So I guess if one team if I feel better about one team coming back, it's the one with the better quarterback and honestly the better receivers. And the way that Puka Nacua works in that situation where he's kind of, which I was shocked to see that he was kind of the number 2 last week. Like Quinyon, because Adams was doing so well, Quinyon got locked up on got locked up on Adams, and Puka got to work on the backside against the other guy, whoever it was at the time when
Jacorian Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, I just meant the other guy. Because
that's the thing with the Rams. They have 2 number 1s, and they're really able to hunt your weaknesses. Xavier Howard has not played particularly well for the Colts. I think they're going to go after him. Colts' run defense is also not been good. Neither is, I think the Rams will be capable of executing. The offenses aren't similar, but they both want to run the football. They both want to play action off of it. And I think they're both going to be able to in this game. So I think it's going to come down to if one defense can just get an early stop or a turnover, you really want to force both these offenses to try to play left-handed. And one of the differences is the Indianapolis Colts offensive line is a lot better than the Rams, in my opinion. They're playing better.
It seems like it feels like to me these are pretty close to evenly matched teams, which is why we kind of land on like game script kind of matters. Like what situations are you going to be in is going to be more advantageous than not to you.
Well,
I don't want to like put a false ceiling on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Which quarterback do you trust? You trust Matt Stafford more playing from behind.
Yeah,
so.
Of course I trust it. Yeah, right.
Well, do you think this is a big measuring stick for Daniel Jones? Because this has been written about ad nauseum, but how for his entire career, pressuring Daniel Jones has been like a death knell for him. And this week he's playing against Jared Verse in that pass rush. Are we going to learn a lot more of how sustainable and stable this Colts thing is after this week?
If they can't run the ball, yes. If they can, Daniel Jones ain't going to be in that many 3rd and longs. That's why early downs are so important to me in this one. Because I think Charlie, to your point, like if they're able to get Daniel Jones in 3rd and long, it's a really big test and a really challenging matchup. But there's a chance they might not get in that many 3rd and longs because I think Indianapolis will be able to run on them.
Is there a quarterback that's good under pressure? Like I feel like there are quarterbacks, some that are better under pressure, but we say that about all quarterbacks. Like when you really get that guy under pressure, he really falls apart.
Yeah,
I just like we've talked about this. You can't, But like also you can't blitz Lamar, you can't blitz Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean under pressure is different than blitzing. Yeah,
heating them up.
But those guys also are like crazy QBRs under pressure too. They were like good at everything. I feel like it's all relative, right? Like there are certain quarterbacks who are worse than other quarterbacks. Everybody's worse pretty much under pressure, obviously. But some are like way worse and some are more inclined to make bad decisions. This has been the miracle of Daniel Jones this season. It's his whole career that's been a problem. And so far this year, it's just not been an issue for him.
The last thing I'd say is this is just now we're into fodder part of this game. The narratives is both of these teams feel like the third wheel of their conference right now, where the Rams are just below the Eagles, Packers, and obviously that could have been different if they'd beaten the Eagles last week. And the Colts are just below the Chargers and Bills, and sort of in that group. Is the winner of this game, like Mina? You're on NFL Live next Tuesday on NFL Live. We're looking up, and there's a graphic being like, whoever wins this game, part of the conference elite with the other two names. Is that like, are we going to leave this with a very different narrative about one of these teams?
I mean, this should already be the narrative around both of them, in my opinion, to be honest. The Rams should have beaten the Eagles.
Right.
Like I'm not saying the Eagles didn't do things that won the game. It wasn't like a complete implosion, but like it was a blocked field goal, right? Like, like they are already very clearly to me amongst the top tier teams in the NFC.
And I mean, I know it's not the same roster, but the same coach and the same quarterback won a Super Bowl recently. And they gave the Eagles hell in the playoffs last year in a close game. I think generally, we feel much better about the Rams' contention in NFC. Like this, as far as narrative's concerned, I think this is a much more important game for the Colts and Daniel Jones. We'll continue to treat him like Sam Darnold until we get to the end of the season. I mean, if he keeps playing well, we'll be like, hey, they're great, but Daniel Jones is going to slow him down.
Domonique, what's your good game?
Philly at Tampa Bay. I went back and watched their last game against the Bucs, and I was surprised because I was anticipating a lot of blitzing And that wasn't really the case at all. Like they did some simulated pressures, but they ended up sending 4 more often than I expected to. That's the Bucs going after Jalen Hurts, because that's always been the book on Jalen Hurts is you blitz him and throws him off. They wanted to play a lot more zone. It seemed like they were playing it differently, where they wanted to put him in a position to like kind of make him dissect the defense seemed to be their goal. And of course they did blitz some. It's Todd Bowles. He's not going to not blitz, but it didn't seem like they came into this game like we're going to throw them off by getting after them all game long. They came to that game seemingly saying we're going to stop the run, be aggressive about stopping the run, and challenge him to pick us apart all the way down the field with cover. And AJ Brown didn't really play in that game either, so that changes things. And the Lane Johnson injury will change things this game.
He's presumably playing. What we know now, this could change. We're going off of what he said in his press this week, but Lane Johnson is presumably playing this week.
Yeah, I just found that interesting is the way they approach the game. And of course, I hate to bring up game script again, but in that game last year, the Bucs got up early by a lot. It was like by the beginning of the second quarter, they had already up 3 touchdowns, and that changes everything about whoever you're going to play against. So, yeah, I was just surprised to see that, and it'd be interesting to see if they go back with the blitz or if they go back to just challenging Jalen Hurts to be like a consistent passer.
I feel like this is a really big Jalen Hurts game. The Bucs run defense is really good. They've been good forever, right? And Dominique and I have talked about this on my show. Like the Eagles run game is still great. It just hasn't hit a second gear like it did last year, right? With the explosives versus Tampa. He's going to have to, regardless of how much they send pressure, they're going to send pressure at some point. He's been a little bit up and down this year against the blitz. Also against simulated pressures. Bowles throws a lot at him. And it feels to me like they have to build on what they did in the second half of last week with AJ Brown. Like this is a passing game in my mind. There's been games where they haven't had to push the ball downfield, where they've been able to run the ball. I don't think this is one of them. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have to be opportunistic, and he's going to have to be good at reading the pressures. And then Kevin Patula is going to have to find answers for him versus those different pressures. But yeah, I think this one's really about the quarterback for me.
So the thing that I think that's totally fair, and I think that's after the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde performance last week, where we saw him throwing the ball in the second half to AJ Brown. That's what a ton of the eyes are going to be on. I'm also really focused on the Eagles defensive line in this game. It's a projected real feel of 103 degrees on Sunday. And we have seen Jalen Carter already struggling with conditioning this season. And, he's their most talented defensive player. He's incredibly important. Like Chris Long has talked about how he needs to be the Chris Jones of that defense for them to really be optimized. And we've gotten a great Jordan Davis season, but now Nolan Smith is on IR, and the role that they signed Zadarius Smith for, I don't know if he was a rotational depth piece or what they want him to be. That has changed considerably now that Nolan Smith's out. And against a pretty high wattage Bucs offense, even without Mike Evans, I'm pretty intrigued to see if they'll be able to get any pressure.
Yeah, and Emeka Buka is going to step up, and they're getting
Godwin's
Godwin back.
Yeah.
So I'm not as concerned about the Mike Evans absence, which I know sounds silly considering how important he's been in this team for as long as he has. But again, going back to last year's game, the reason why the D-line to me matters is last year's game, the Bucs' plan in approaching this was to get rid of the ball quickly. They're obviously concerned about that defensive line. There's so many short passes, so many screen passes, and so many things that like Baker, I guess it's not what I expect from Baker. I feel like Baker feels more comfortable with taking those like bigger chunks. And without the pressure, if they're going to come into this game and not be able to pressure them with 4, I think that puts Baker, that works to his advantage. I think they managed to manufacture a ton of points against them last year in that situation. But when you watch the Bucs in other scenarios, it doesn't seem like that's like their default. What they want to go to is all these quick passing games. That was a response to their fear of that D-line, which doesn't seem as fearsome as it once did.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to run the football in this one with Rashad White. And the Eagles defense has been good, but they've not been great against the run in terms of just efficiency. The Rams were really efficient running the ball on them with Kyren Williams, and I think that's been the case most of the season. And Tampa, when the run game is rolling, it still looks like one of the best in football. I think a lot of those gap runs they do are going to be effective against this defensive front. So yeah, I think especially with no Mike Evans, they don't really have the receivers to attack the Eagles' second cornerback the way I think they would like to if Evans was in the lineup, even if, with Godwin. So I think this is going to be, I mentioned I thought Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw the Eagles out of this. I think Tampa's going to really want to run.
Yeah. My fodder on this game that I know will be all over social media. This is going to be like the nadir of tush push talk. Like, especially because the Bucs signed Desmond Watson to be on their practice squad. He's going to be standing there. Going to get a camera on him on the sideline. There's going to be that overhead shot of potential false starts from Steen again.
I don't think everyone knows who Desmond Watson is.
Sorry, Desmond Watson is the 440-pound defensive tackle from the University of Florida who was signed by the Bucs in camp, and they tried to get him conditioned, and he wasn't conditioned enough, so they released him. And Bowles, when they re-signed him to the practice squad this week, Todd Bowles said it was not to be a tush push stopper. He had a good workout. His conditioning's improved, and it's someone that they think could be brought along as a prospect. But of course, even when they signed him initially, people thought that it was.
Don't the Bucs have like a surprisingly good history
yes.
against the tush push?
Yes.
Is that all Vita Vea? Is that what that
Vita
is?
Vea is a big part of it.
Yeah. But either way, to me, I think that this is maybe peak tush push week of when we talk about it. All right, my good game. Honestly, I was going to troll you guys and flip these, but for the sake of taking this at face value, I'll put Ravens Chiefs. It's a pedigree good game, just because, look, I don't think the Chiefs are that fun to watch. I think the Ravens are much more flawed defensively than they were last year. I think the last bits of Mike McDonald DNA maybe are leaving the Ravens defense in a way that could be problematic as they transfer over to Mina's favorite team, the Seahawks. But the Ravens offense is still so damn fun to watch. And it's hard to say the Chiefs could be a get right spot, but I imagine like Lamar and Derrick Henry are going to want to put on a show this week. So
yeah. I mean, I'm less interested in Lamar and Derrick Henry, which I assume they're going to be able to move the ball and score. They have
Fumblegate?
Yeah.
You're not worried about
I'm not worried about the fumbles.
Like,
as much as it's going to be interesting to see this Chiefs offense, if the Ravens defense can't do anything, like Zach Orr is going to be under some heat over there. If their defense can't slow down this Chiefs offense that seems slowed by everyone. And the Chiefs don't run the ball particularly well, which seemed like that was the glaring weakness. And I think the Ravens, to your point about Mike McDonald, one of the things that they did so well was they were able to play multiple positions. The players played multiple positions, and they would disguise and sim and blitz. I've noticed it seems like a lot of the big passing plays come in situations where it is guys who they're doing these simulated pressures or these actual pressures and rolling their secondary members into positions that they don't normally play, and they're not playing them well. They're getting attacked, and that's like as good as Kyle Hamilton is. Like Kyle Hamilton is not consistently comfortable with playing the corner and cover two. Like I see that stuff happen over and over again with these guys. And like the middle of the field, I feel like is the nickel hasn't been stable. They've attacked that, and they've been like out of place on their zones. Like I think it's just like discipline stuff that's giving up some of the explosive plays. As for the running attack, ain't discipline. They just got that beat last week and in other situations.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be fine on the back end. I think they'll figure things out. But the run defense, Dominique and I talked about this a little bit after Monday Night Football. It feels like both a structural problem and a talent problem right now. And you wonder, I'm interested in this game because I want to see what do they do to try to fix it. Like, are they bringing the safety a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage because you got those explosive runs, between the tackles? Play a little more three linebackers. Are they shifting some of their personnel? I don't know. And then, like on the flip side, like it really feels like if the Chiefs can't run on them, they're not going to be able to run on anyone. like the formula is like, what you got to do? You got to just, get under center and get downhill on them. And if they can't do that, I mean, what do you do with the Kansas City Chiefs? So I think this is it's a funny thing to say about two like ostensible Super Bowl contenders, but I think one of either the Ravens defense or the Chiefs offense, one of them is going to be like dead. You know what I mean? Like really, really bad after this game.
I gotta. This is like a really stupid question about the Chiefs offense, but it's one I don't understand. Like, I don't understand, and I know you look at PFF. Jawan Taylor's run blocking grades are like poor playing right tackle. I know that every broadcast focuses on Kingsley Suamataia and how he's like kind of a hole on the left side, but they still have like Josh Simmons has been excellent. Creed Humphreys is great. Trey Smith is great. Like, why is that unit considered so poor still?
I mean, I think it's a combination of few things. Like, I think it's one, they're poor because of the names that you just mentioned.
It's
and
two of the
like,
five spots.
Yeah.
It's not just like,
and it's continuity.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a result of they don't have a bunch of other answers. So, like, you can take pressure off them if you run the ball well. You can take pressure off them in their passing situations if they run block well. You could take pressure off them with quick passes if you had someone who was explosive and with Yak, or if you had like those, it's just a lot on them, and they aren't good enough to support all of that. And they're not making people pay. They got some explosives last week, but they're not making people pay with explosives. And Patrick's deciding to run a lot more, but it's still like, even when he runs to convert a first down, it doesn't feel as dangerous as it does when like Josh or Lamar runs. So I think teams are not like doing this like contain rush. They're pinning their ears back, as you like to say, and getting after them. And it's just, there's no counterpunch. They have no counterpunch. They're just back there kick sliding and getting their kicked.
The way I would put it is the Chiefs offense, its current iteration, doesn't force the defense to make any hard decisions, right? Like, great offenses, like even good offenses, there's something you have to worry about. Is it the run game? Is it a number one wide receiver? Is it a lot of motion and the scheme is really moving you side to side? Or is it a quarterback who's a threat to run? Maybe like Patrick Mahomes scrambling is like the one thing you're worried about is defense. You got to make sure they got a lid on this. But at the moment, you're not frightened of anything right now. So you can play close to the line of scrimmage. You can't, like, it used to be the Chiefs run game is like very much attached to their RPO passing game, right? Which is part of why they run the way that they do. And it's all those gun runs. But you're not afraid of the RPO passing game right now. Like, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing that scares you. So to answer your question about like why the run game is bad, because there's some of it is structural. It's just defenses aren't afraid of the passing attack. Some of it is these backs are not good. I'm sorry. Like, they're just not. Like, they're not, you know, you talked about the offensive line, but they're not creating above and beyond ever.
The backs, you mean?
Yeah, the backs, yeah.
Yeah, on top of the holes in the offensive line.
So yeah, this is a real test in a bad way.
That's the one game it's going to be this.
Mina, what's your good bad game?
My good bad game, Cleveland, Detroit.
Nailed it.
I might pick the Browns defense for my good bad game like every week because they're just so good that they have the potential to make any good team look disgusting. But I'm really interested in this matchup. The Lions run game, Cleveland run defense has been extraordinary. I do think there's an opportunity here for Dan Campbell / John Morton as play callers, because we have seen this Browns defense is very good, but they can also be somewhat predictable. They play a lot of man, they stack the box. So, you know, there have been games where very schemed up offenses are able to use misdirection and run pass conflict and sort of get guys wide open because of that. But it's a tough matchup. It really is. And I'm looking at that Lions interior of the offensive line, and the Ravens had no one to bother them. The Browns defensive tackles are playing really well, right? Obviously, Miles being double and triple team helps. So this is, I'm interested in seeing that Lions offensive line against this front.
I'm sure you saw the stat, but Mason Graham had a 43.5% pass rush win rate last week, and the average for defensive tackles 9%.
I think Seth Walder.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Pretty good.
And Myles Garrett actually got triple team last week. It was they keep track of double teams and how many double team wins you have. There's no stat for triple teams. They need to add that just for Myles Garrett.
I feel like I'm going to say this on every pod, but the clip of him getting by the Packers right tackle with him being mic'd up, and you can hear the Packers right tackle going, "Jordan, run!" It's so great.
Because I posted that picture of the 3 Packers trying to block Myles Garrett, and people were like, "This has never happened," and I'm like, "Okay, I got like 30 clips of Aaron Donald to share with you guys."
Of course. Aaron Donald gets
he's
triple
great,
team too.
but like this is
The Jeff brings that up, the Jordan Run thing.
Mhm.
Jeff always says that he would say he didn't get beat often, but when he did get beat, he would yell, "Throw it."
Oh, I think he
Really?
was gonna be like, Peyton, fall.
No, he's like,
Peyton, fall.
throw it, which is a funny thought. And then Peyton come to sideline and yell at him for trying to call the plays.
Donald.
I'm up, right? Good,
Yeah,
bad. Good, bad is easy. It's the Green Bay Packers going to the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be so fun to watch this game. I was laughing because they tried to present the idea that the Cowboys might be like more invigorated to go up against Micah Parsons. And that's nonsense because it seems like all the players were on his side and probably still on it.
No
on
tribute
his
video.
side. But also, like, wasn't that last week? Didn't their coach say that they was going to show that for the Floos? They was about to go beat them up. That was a revenge game for the Floos, and it got embarrassed. They got their pants pulled down and beaten by the Bears. Like I don't know. I was like wildly wrong about the Ravens-Lions game. There's some games I was wrong about the Packers and Browns game. Like they're games that I get wrong. I cannot envision a situation that the Cowboys make this close. I don't do gambling. I don't know what the spread is, but it should be big.
Especially without CeeDee Lamb, right? Because every Cowboys game, you're
Yeah.
like, well, maybe if the offense, the passing attack, it's but
Yeah.
I mean, we first take we started with should the fans boo Micah Parsons or something? They're going to be booing Jerry
Jesus
Jones by
Christ.
halftime. They're 100%.
Yeah.
Every time Micah gets a pressure or a sack or does something superhuman, the camera's going to cut to Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
This Cowboys defense is a train wreck. I mean, it's so bad.
F you, Jerry chants, maybe that's it. Because when you boo the team, it's not clear who you're exactly booing. I think it's clear if they put Jerry on the Jumbotron in the stadium, they'll definitely boo.
They're not gonna boo.
Yes, they will.
No way.
Yes, they 100%.
They're
will boo.
100%. If they're getting their butts kicked, they're 100%
Yeah.
going to.
If they're down and they show Jerry Jones on the Jumbotron, they will boo him.
This was Stephen. I was like, oh, they're going to boo. I was like, no, they're not stupid. They're not happy about this. They're not. They didn't want
Yeah.
this. This is.
That's why I was thinking they have to do a F you, Jerry chant to make it clear that they're not disappointed in their players as much as they are. Well, I guess they could boo the defense. The defense could be booed.
The real funny thing is if the Green Bay run game goes crazy in this game.
Yeah.
That's how you get.
Yeah, seriously. That would be amazing. Need to stop the run. I mean, Dominique, do you want to talk about how the Packers offense has been sort of hit or miss this year, though? Because that's one of the things that, like, I'm not saying they're going to be missed against this Dallas team, but I do think it's an interesting subplot.
They're 31st in the league as far as series that do not earn one first down. So it's not only is it 3-and-out series, but it's also turnovers in that. That's like for an offense that we think a quarterback that is up there just on the edge of elite and an offense with a bunch of good receivers. And at one point, an O-line and a running attack. And not to forget Kraft, the tight end that is among the best in the league. We think of this offense as more productive than it actually is. And I think the streaky nature of it puts their defense in a tough situation. And that's something that if it doesn't get addressed, which is, we talk about all three phases being interconnected in a way, but I don't know that we think about it like a pregame and a game-to-game situation. It's like how good your defense is or how good your defense performs in a game is oftentimes dependent on how much rest they get, starting field position, what type of situations you're putting them in. And I do think that if they don't get it addressed, they're going to end up putting their team, their defense, which is very good, in some real bad situations, which will cost them, especially, and I guess that's also combined with the fact that they don't run the ball. It's the reason why they probably have a few series that they get out of there quickly.
That's the weirdest thing about this Packers offense thus far. Last year, they were like top 5 rushing team and this year they've been awful running the ball. And when you dig into numbers, it's a combination of things. Like the blocking has not been good and they've had injuries on the offensive line. I don't think Zach Tom is going to be playing in this one, but we'll see. And then the Josh Jacobs hasn't been good above and beyond it either, but that's Matt LaFleur has been very creative in the past with running the ball. I think losing Jaden Reed is like sneaky, a little impactful in that regard because of what they were able to do with him in the backfield. But he's got to figure that out because to Dominique's point, right now the offense is entirely too boomer bust. And It does. It just feels like it can be very explosive, but they need to be more efficient.
And that's, I mean, obviously, if that continues and becomes a trend line through the rest of the season
Yeah.
and we head into the playoffs, that'll be one of the things to talk about because one game sample every week. When I think we hoped that Matthew Golden was going to be a 1-to-1 easy replacement for what they were losing from Christian Watson and maybe more when they took him. But he's had the same issues so far this year as he did in college, which is just earning targets at a high enough rate to be,
It was so sad because that was
I think
really
he's going to be a
cool.
good player.
I know. I wanted it to work out more quickly because the way he was drafted was really cool.
It's been 3 games.
The older I get, the more sentimental I get. And it was like they cheered for him. He was there. It was cool.
Yeah.
I want him to be great. And
I
out there. And it's like, man.
I would buy all the stock still long term in this. Where like they're in fantasy football terms, they're the sleepers heading into the season. He was bunched right there with Ricky Parasol and Emeka Buka, and like those guys have popped off immediately. So I still think there's a world where it works. It's just been slower. All right, my good bad game. I actually just am really excited to watch this. It's Chargers Giants. Mostly because I'm like slowly getting converted into just really, really believing in this Chargers team and what Greg Roman has done with the offense, allowing Herbert to throw the ball around the yard considerably more. Like there are all these charts of how often they're throwing and how deep they're throwing, and breaking Herbert from someone who I think one of the main criticisms was that he was incredibly risk averse and he had this rocket launcher attached to his shoulder and wasn't using it all the time. And now it's become a huge part of the offense. On the other side, I want to see Jackson Dart. I want to see, like, you have Malik Neighbors. What's this quarterback change going to mean? Get one the ball. Like,
Malik Neighbors is fun.
Yeah.
Free my man Lad McConkey. I'm getting sick and tired of this Quentin Johnston love because my man Lad is the best receiver on that team. I don't give a damn. I know that Kevin's going to be mad, one of our producers, because I'm not giving Quentin Johnston the respect that he deserves. He's a good receiver. Lad creates separation. It has nothing to do with the outcome of this game. Obviously, the Chargers are the favorite and likely to win this game without a ton of pressure. But I just generally, I've been noticing people getting high on QJ when my man Ladd is not getting the rock. As for the dart stuff, like, I don't know. He'll be athletic. That'll help, but it's a tough situation for me.
Oh, it's a terrible situation.
The Johnston thing is kind of crazy though, because Ladd McConkey is the number one receiver in that offense and one of the best, I think, receivers in the NFL, to be honest. But like, you and I have talked a lot about whether or not quarterbacks can get accurate and become more accurate, and like vis-a-vis Josh Allen and other players. Like, Quentin Johnston might have me convinced that you can learn to catch the football, right? Because like he just couldn't catch for the first.
Yeah,
and his like speed is what stands out at his size, but he's been making like contested catches. I don't know. It's made me think. Okay, maybe don't be quick to judge whether or not a receiver can actually improve at what would seem to be the most important part of the job, because it's been neat to watch.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to accept that. I guess my issue with him is there are some things that he still doesn't do well and doesn't possess the ability to ever do well that I think are important for a receiver that that you're drafting.
And let's be clear about this. Well, let's be clear about this, and we'll get to that in a second. But the jump from Quentin Johnston is from being someone who we thought was like not capable of being on the NFL field really to being like a productive, pretty good player. Like it's not like,
right. I know, but I know they drafted him he's the number one for them right now.
And they drafted him. They drafted him in the first round, and of course, you draft that guy, you hope he can be a true number one receiver. But the fact that he's a productive, good player and fitting in with McConkey, that's the win.
He gets one-on-ones on the perimeter too, because defenses are clearly trying to take out McConkey. I mean, I think like McConkey is very much the focal point, and McConkey might like Domonique, like the way he like snaps off DBs on those in breakers, and his route running to me is just so clean. Oh, it's so clean. Like he really.
That's why. Obviously, I, like many other people, underestimated Ladd McConkey, and then I started watching it more closely. I don't know. It might have been you, Mina, who was the first person to tell me, like, "Hey, you can check out this Ladd McConkey character
too." That's when I was really last year, just amazed by some of his route running. Yeah, this is a good, interesting game because the dart and like whether or not, I think that we talked a lot about this more. Like the dart thing is tricky because it's such a bad, everybody has like bad incentives. Like Brian Dable and Joe Shane are desperate to keep their jobs. So they not only needed him to start, but they need him to play well, right? And you can't help but feel like if he has his ups and downs inside the building, there's going to be all kinds of weird, like, if he makes a mistake, Brian Dale's probably going to lose it on the sideline, right?
I think
it's a tricky spot. Charge defense is really tricky for any quarterback, but a rookie quarterback, it's not ideal. I think for me, if I was a Giants fan, I would just want him. I would love him to not make any like boneheaded mistakes and take care of the football, but also like, throw it quickly. It's probably gonna be very like RPO heavy, a lot of quick game, so quarterback designed runs. So you just want him to look efficient and like he's prepared. That's
what a smart fan would say. What a meatball fan will say is, I want the offense to look exciting with Dart, Neighbors, and Scatabo. Like, to me, that's like the bar. Like, it's going to be like a purely eye test. Can we make a couple explosive plays and look better than, like, you felt so bad other than the Cowboys game. You felt like such a low ceiling of what you were if you were a Giants fan.
Except for that time when he threw for 400 yards.
That's I said, except for the Cowboys. But that's
right.
Come on.
I know, it's the Cowboys.
That's Jerry. Put that on Jerry.
I do find that how the expectations have changed when you put in Jackson Dart for the coaches to coach and general manager to keep their jobs. Like, I think the expectation has changed, and it puts the organization in a funny situation. I give Greeny a hard time because some of his takes are kind of like very remedial, but one of them that I think he's kind of won me over on is like, bringing the coach, the quarterback, and the GM, unless you have one of them that you know is great, bring them in at the same time and put them on the same timeline. Because what could happen in this is this team could still be bad, but Jackson Dart could progressively get better as the season goes on. Then you're in a situation like, what's the reason? Is he getting better because of this coach, who we also don't think is a very good coach? And then what do we do about that? It's just a weird... I guess you should not avoid those odd dynamics, but when there's an opportunity to keep everybody together and their incentives aligned, that's
on the same
best possible
timeline.
Yeah,
they're Eberflusing right now. It's.
Right.
I mean, I'm joking about him, but there's countless examples of the.
Well, I mean, it's the Bears. The Bears did it time and time again, from Mitch to Fields to Caleb. It's every single time it was like the mismatch of the coach and the quarterback. And it hasn't worked for them yet, but I guess maybe it's working now.
Yeah. So my bad game.
Bad.
And this
is not the sicko game?
No, we'll get to the sicko game.
We got a few minutes left.
Yeah, I hope this isn't to quote Domonique Foxworth. I hope this isn't a remedial take, but it's Pats Panthers, and it's because we might get the funniest turnovers possible from these two quarterbacks. They both might play clean games. It's distinctly possible with Drake May and Bryce Young. They both flash quite a bit, but this could be the cut-in game where we get some really funny turnovers.
This is a bad game that I actually don't want to watch. Most of the bad
really?
games. I would want to watch it if we could get
this is the Will Levis Memorial game.
If we could get Will Levis to commentate, then I'm in.
Will Levis and Jameis in the booth together.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I don't know. There's no analysis for this.
No.
Game, man. Yeah,
it's just for the bit. Yeah. This is remedial.
Drake May was actually good this last week. He fumbled it, and then everyone else on his team fumbled it, and
no, Drake May, I still believe.
I mean, to be fair, the Panthers are coming off a 30-0 win, so you stop it. This is a good game. We changed it.
All right, we switched it.
I still don't want to watch.
All right, my sicko game. And if you watch this game, you are a sick. It is Texans Titans. Those quarterbacks, their jersey is going to be so dirty, both of them, after this game.
It's gonna be ugly. They don't protect either. I have more interest in watching this game because Cameron Ward, I interested in his development. Talk about funny interceptions. He's had a couple ridiculous interceptions and ridiculous touchdown pass, that one. But yeah, I'm interested in his development and seeing. But that game, Callahan he's really trying to get himself fired. the way, the series of decisions that he's made and confusion. Did you see I just caught up on this earlier this week, the end of half situation with the timeouts, multiple off of 2 timeouts.
Allen gave up play calling.
Yeah, they got off of 2 timeouts. Yeah. They got to delay a game on a field goal right before the end of the half. It's just a mess.
Did you hear his description of why that happened?
I did not.
He said that he said we weren't sure what we were going to do still coming out of the timeout.
Both timeouts, back-to-back timeouts.
Back-to-back timeouts.
I also didn't understand the rule about 2 feet down or not 2 feet down. Just it's hard to go back in the locker room and get guys engender some level of support when it seems like you don't know the basic stuff that most of us already understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mina Kimes, for joining us.
Hold on.
Oh, my bad. I was in a hurry to get you out on time. Make sure we did that. My bad.
What matters here? I won the Survivor League. You guys are eliminated. It's over.
No. I was gonna say thank you and welcome to the regular season of the Survivor League. We've finished the preseason. Thanks you for that. Thanks to all the great producers. Thank you, Mina Kimes. Thank you, Charlie Kravitz. Now, that was the last preseason game. We didn't even play our starters.
The thing that we didn't realize is when you play the Commanders the week before, we beat the out of teams, and so the Packers were tenderized before playing the Browns. I didn't realize
Commanders
that.
hangover.
Yeah,
the Thursday night game that they played against the Commanders had them hungover the way until the following Sunday.
Who did I have this last week?
You had the Bucs. You snuck by. You snuck by against the Jets. I don't want to hear it from you, Kimes.
Yeah.
Who do we have this week?
Great to win the Survivor League again. I'm honestly humbled by this early win. They don't usually come this early in the season in most respectable Survivor Leagues, but I'll take it.
Hypothetical, if you were participating in a Survivor League,
who have I picked
would you choose this week?
Charlie, remind me.
So far this season, you've taken the Steelers, Rams, and Bucs. You got a lot of good options still on the board.
I've taken the Steelers, the Rams, and the Bucs. I'm taking the Texans this week against the Titans.
Okay. And so what we'll do for the rest of the season, Mina won. We can't cheat her again this year.
She did.
But we will do a continued pool Survivor style. You cannot pick your same teams, and then we'll tally it up at the end of the season. And if we come back and beat you, we will negate your initial victory.
And if we don't, your 2 victories will cancel each other out, and then we win.
Oh.
All right, pick your team and let Mina go.
Dominique, who should we pick?
I don't know. I thought you were doing that. That's your department.
I
do the off time.
All right, we're taking the Chargers.
Okay, there we go. Thanks again to Mina. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks to all the great producers. Podville, I love you. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.